Hi, welcome to another field trip with the library. Today, we are going to Cheat Lake, West Virginia to see a really cool museum at the West Virginia Department of Commerce Geological and Economic Survey, where they have some really cool dinosaur bones. Let's go find them. There are all kinds of dinosaurs. Dinosaur means terrible lizard or terrible reptile. Dinosaurs lived millions of years ago. There are a lot of different things at the museum. A meteorite is a rock that falls to Earth from space. Most are very old. They provide some of the only samples we have of other worlds, planets, asteroids, and possibly comets. A gemstone is a piece of mineral crystal. A gemstone is also called a fine gem, jewel, precious stone, or a semi-precious stone. Most gemstones are hard, but some are soft minerals. With this cool sandbox, you can play in it and you can see how the different topographical changes occur. Topography is the study of form and features of land surfaces. Topographic change is the rise or fall of the elevation of the Earth's surface through time. I have a friend here that would like to introduce you to them. Go ahead and tell everyone what your name is.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Elizabeth Rinberg and I work here at the West Virginia Geologic and Economic Survey, where we house this nice little museum that we are sitting in right now.
So what are some of the things they can see when they come to this museum?
Well, like you said, lots and lots of dinosaurs. We don't have dinosaurs in West Virginia. They didn't live here, or we can't find their bones, but that doesn't mean that we don't have some really cool things for you to look at, including the only actual for real dinosaur bone on display in West Virginia, and that is this lady, Hannah, our Edmontosaurus, and from North Dakota.
What is your favorite part about working here?
Oh, I just love talking to people about everything in the museum.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you. So can you give us a tour?
Of course.
I bet some of my friends watching now can tell us what kind of dinosaur this is because he has 3 horns. But I'll let Elizabeth explain a little bit more about him.
So this is a Triceratops. Again, probably you guys know. This is a replica, so it's very hollow, very light, even though it's heavy because it's large. So most of the dinosaurs you see in any museum are going to be made out of this kind of material. And this guy, this Triceratops, he lived in the same place in the same time as our Edmontosaurus did.
And what kind of food would the Triceratops eat?
They would have been herbivores, so anything, veggies, grass, leaves, bushes.
And what do you think they use these horns for?
Probably for defense, because it also lived in the same time and place as the Tyrannosaurus Rex did. So that would have been one of its main predators. And with these nice big horns, it would have been able to protect itself and its family. And the nice bony frill that it has on the back of its head, its skull, would have protected its very vulnerable neck.
Yeah. So what kind of dinosaur is this?
This is not a dinosaur. This is a rhinoceros.
Oh.
So this is Sasha. She is a woolly rhinoceros. And she's named for actually a baby that they pulled out of Siberian ice, where they can still have their actual DNA. Everything perfectly preserved in ice.
So dinosaurs aren't the only fossils then?
Oh, there are many fossils that are not just dinosaurs.
Sometimes even trees can turn into fossils. Trilobites form one of the earliest known groups of arthropods, which means 3 lobes. Crinoids are marine animals. They are an ancient fossil group that first appeared about 300 million years before dinosaurs. Fossils are once living creatures, such as plants or animals, that are formed in stone. You can find fossils everywhere. Did you know that West Virginia has its very own fossil? Elizabeth, can you tell us about that?
Yes, our state fossil is the giant ground sloth. And the giant ground sloth is almost always known as Jeff because its bones, when it was originally found in the 1700s, they were sent to Thomas Jefferson for him to look at. So our 3rd president was the first to look at and describe or a ground sloth.
Wow, that's really cool. Did the sloth live in West Virginia?
Yes, the sloth would have lived just around, and you find bones like his and other mammals in caves usually.
Do we think he was like a real sloth? Was he really slow?
Very unlikely that they were really slow. He was pretty big, obviously, and big old claws. They thought these were lion claws initially. Thomas Jefferson told Lewis and Clark to look for giant lions and giant sloths whenever they went out west. But probably not slow, probably ambled kind of like an elephant does, only on 2 legs.
Oh, so it did walk on 2 legs?
Sometimes. It probably was a mixture of both.
Oh, cool.
Just like West Virginia has a state fossil with our giant ground sloth, we also have a state gem. And that state gem happens to be a fossil coral. So here is the fossil coral, as you would have just picked it up off the ground out of the rocks. And just like the corals that live today, it would have lived in a nice, warm, tropical environment with lots of little things swimming around it. But this coral is hundreds of million years old, so this is a very old coral. It looks just like coral when you pull it up, but as soon as you throw it in a tumbler, start polishing it up, then you get our state gem, which can be a variety of colors. The pink color tends to be the prettiest, and this is Lithostrotionella, which is a mouthful to say.
Wow! Elizabeth, what kind of dinosaur is this?
This is a Tarbosaurus. And a Tarbosaurus comes from Mongolia, so very far away, and it's a relative of the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Wow, it's really impressive.
It is, and this isn't even of an adult. This is just a juvenile.
Wow. So tell me about this really interesting fossil.
This is Dunkley osteous. He is a fish, or was a fish. We only have bones for his skull because the skull was the only part that had bones. The rest of the body, the fins and everything, were cartilaginous, like sharks are today. So when you find sharks fossils, you're going to find teeth and nothing else, because nothing else is hard. He has no teeth, which is very interesting for how aggressive he is thought to have been. He does have bony projections that acted as teeth. These are parts of his skull.
Check out that mouth.
That's not even as wide as he can open his mouth. When you open your mouth, you're only opening your bottom mouth, your bottom jaw. It's all you open. He would have opened his bottom jaw and his top jaw. So he has this gap right here that allows his skull to go upwards. So he had a really wide bite. And we have found them, or bits of them in West Virginia. So these guys would have been swimming 350 million years ago when West Virginia was under the ocean.
So Elizabeth, can you tell us about this dinosaur?
This is also not a dinosaur. This is Dimitridon, which lived before the dinosaurs. And they are what we call mammal-like reptiles because they have a lot of features similar to mammals, particularly in the skull area. But what's really cool about Dimitridon, even though this is a replica like most everything else in the museum, these are his footprints. And these are real footprints that come out of Ritchie County.
So this animal did live in the area?
Yes, he did live in this area.
And what kind of food did this animal like to eat?
He would have been a predator, a carnivore, so he would have attacked smaller creatures and eaten meat.
Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for this wonderful tour.
Oh, of course.
And kids can come see this on their own?
Oh, you can come see it any day, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. It's free. Just come and hang out with all the dinosaurs and fish.
And thank you for joining us for another adventure with Field Trips with the library.